Hello, Word fam. How's everybody doing this evening? It is, hang on just 1 second, guys. It is 4/7/2021. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing well. Don't forget, guys, drop me a hello when you get on. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Let's see here. Sending some invites out. We're going to get some guys on with us tonight. So who all, real quick, so who all saw the thumbnail for tonight's show? Any guesses on who we got coming on? Got several of them coming on tonight. All right. Rain coming tomorrow. First and foremost, let's get the old dew going. Get the old Mountain Dew rolling here. And have a good drink. Whoa, hold up. I'm gonna watch myself pour it all over me. All right. You guys know I gotta have my Mountain Dew with my life. Let's see. Who all we got on here tonight with us? Larry Merrick, Tim Payne, what's up? Solomon Ott, hello, hello. Joseph Thaxton, Craig Fowler, Andy, Todd, Troy, Karen H. from Chicago, hello, hello. Craig Fowler, Ronnie Harris, Ashley, Jimmy, what's going on? Guys, I'm going to go through names real quick because I want to get to our special guests for the evening. So I'm just going to say hello to everybody real quick. Crappie Kev, what's up? Ken Blick, Larry Merrick. Larry's looks like Larry has some questions. We'll get to questions here in just a little bit, guys. Josh Sanders, hello. Randy, hello. Retired, hello, hello. Sid Lewis, Misty from Crappie Cove. What's going on, Misty? So, guys, real quick, and hello, hello to everybody else. Crickwater Crappie Company. If I did not tell you hello, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm going to try to get to our special guests so that you guys have time to pick our brains about everything that is going on. We're gonna have a really broad spectrum of crappie fishermen tonight. So we're gonna have guys from well, I don't want to give too much away. Let's see. We're gonna have guys from Tennessee, obviously. We're gonna have guys from the Mid-South. We're gonna have guys from the Mid-North, North. Well, somewhere up around there. I'll let him tell you. I think I know, but I don't want to tell you guys. I don't want to give it away right now, okay? So we're going to have several different guys on. I can't wait. We're going to get them in just a second. I see them back there behind stage. But before we do, guys, this is your opportunity to ask questions and get answers from all across the country. These guys are from all across the country. It's not just Tennessee waters we're talking about tonight. So I'm going to get everybody in here. I'm going to let them give you a little bit of an introduction about who they are, what they run, what channels they have, what social media accounts they're on, so you guys can follow them. And also, I want you guys to ask some questions. So be thinking of some questions for everybody. And when you get those questions down, put them in the comment section and we will answer them. I'd like to, if you want to direct it to somebody specifically, direct it to that person. We'll let them answer and then maybe we'll elab on their answer. Okay, guys? So if y'all would, please bear with me. We are going to try our best to get everybody on screen real quick. Let's see. Who do I want to bring in first? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch it. Right. So this is going to be good, guys. There's going to be a lot of good, a lot of knowledge, a lot of crappie fishing knowledge on the screen tonight. So ACC Crappie Sticks Tournament coming Saturday. I want to talk about that a little bit because all these guys are going to be down there Saturday duking it out, trying to catch the biggest fish every hour. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of big fish weighed, and they're all going to be there. So Grant Bailey, what's up? Heath McDaniel, hello. Jimmy, hello. D-Car, what's going on? Have had a great week. Thank you very much, D-Car. So let's see. Let's bring in a familiar face. Let's see. Let's bring in one of my personal friends, close friend of mine, Mr. Sarge. What's going
What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Man, I've got a terrible connection here, so I apologize. I'm trying to get my computer working.
You look good. Look good on my end.
Well, thank you. It's kind of hard to not look good with this face, you know.
Oh yeah, it's God given, right?
Getting the battery charged, ready for another day of good fishing.
Good deal, good deal. So Sarge, real quick, tell everybody on the live tonight. Give them a little rundown. Give them your Facebook. Give them your YouTube. Give them your pro staffs. Give us a rundown. Sarge, where are you from? Where do you fish at? Your home lake. Tell us a little bit.
All right. I am from Tyler, Texas. You can find me on Facebook at Asleep at the Reel. YouTube, Asleep at the Reel. And let's see. I fish for crappie. And what else did you ask me? Tyler, Texas, I said that.
Home lake?
Home lake. Usually I'd say Lake Palestine. That's where I fish most of the time. And I'm up here in Tennessee right now. It is amazing. I'm in a hotel room, so you got to love my background. I'm sorry.
You're in my neck of the woods tonight.
I am.
All right. Let's see. Let's bring in one more familiar face here. Boom. Mr. Blake Hawk. What's going on, Blake?
What's up, guys?
How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. I've been on the water all day.
Oh, you practicing for the ACC tournament?
Never wet a line. Never wet a line.
You still out there practicing? You was looking around, doing a little bit of recon, I'll call it.
Nah, never even had my boat in the water today.
Oh, well then, what were you doing on the lake?
I was just hopping around boats today. I was boat hopping.
Oh, he's getting all the insight.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn from the guys that are good.
Yeah, I hear you. So you weren't in Sarge's boat?
Oh, Sarge went black on that one.
Oh, he'll come back.
Yeah.
He'll come back. I'm not sure what happened on him. Hang on, Sarge. Let's try to get you back in.
There I am.
Oh, you'll get back in. Hey, there you go. All right. So we got one more guy that I see in backstage to bring in. So real quick, you're all right. So real quick, Blake, give us a rundown of what all you do in the crappie industry, and obviously everybody sees your patch there, good looking logo. But give us a little rundown what all Mr. Blake Hawk does for crappie fishing.
Well, we started a new business last year. It's real fresh. It's about 9 months old. Started something called Crappie Cove, and opened it in my indoor range and gun store in Maryville, Tennessee, and found a little bit of a fun thing to do. So we've added some pro staff guys and been fishing, traveling around, and trying to grow the sport. 30 years ago, I was active in bass fishing, and I learned to leave the ditch pickles over in the ditch and start chasing crappie.
The ditch pickles. Yeah, I like that. So I also have a bass background, which we've discussed before. I bass fished before I crappie fished, and I too came to the I guess I had an epiphany, we'll call it, that was too much like work. Not to say that I won't do it, but it was too much like work for me. I wanted to work at my job during the week and then play and have fun on the weekends. So that's how I got over into crappie fishing. It was too much like work for me. I wanted to work at my job during the week. Got feedback. Play and have fun on the weekends. So that's how I got over into crappie fishing. It was too much like work for me.
I'm sorry.
I got feedback from somebody.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, Matt, let me get out. I'm going to come back in because I can't hear a thing y'all are saying.
Okay. All right, so let's bring one more guy in real quick. Mr. Davis with Floppin' Crappie. What's going on, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Tennessee's been treating me well this week.
I hear you. So you've been down here since when?
Last Saturday.
Last Saturday. Oh, wow. Last Saturday?
Well, this past one. So I've been here.
Oh, okay.
This is day 5 for me. Day
Oh,
5.
okay. Okay.
Pulled
So,
up, yeah.
So Matt, I
yeah.
got to tell you. So Sarge and I pulled up beside. Sarge and Davis had hooked up today, and Keith and I pulled up in a cove where they were. So I went over to talk to Davis, and I said, "Well, Davis, how's it going?" He said, "Man, I've caught so many crappie, I got tired of it. I had to go bass fishing."
Well,
Really,
all
this is a,
right.
this, this is
I'm
a
officially
phenomenal lake.
staying home Saturday.
It's a phenomenal lake. You know, just the amount of brush that is out here, just any cove, and any single piece of brush can have a 2-pounder on it. It's amazing. So I'm glad I made the trip. Looking forward to Saturday.
Well, we're glad you're down here. I'm glad we got hooked up. And actually, for everybody here, we are actually going to do a video this Friday. We're
Yep.
going to go out Friday morning and Wired for Crappie and Flopping Crappie are going to get together and do a little video for you guys. So that'll come out in the coming weeks, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got a long trip back home and you've got to edit and everything else. So, but yeah, so that show will be coming out. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And thank you for the opportunity. So real quick, Davis, tell us a little bit about everything that you're doing. Tell us a little bit, give everybody your YouTube channel and your Facebook, and where can people find you and find what you're doing?
Yeah, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, it's all Flopping Crappie. I just love traveling around to different states, and I enjoy crappie fishing. It's always a different experience when you travel from state to state. You know, how we fish for them up north is completely different than how we're fishing them here on Watts Bar versus how you fish for them in Texas. So that's what I love doing, and I love filming it.
Awesome. Well, I watch a lot of your videos personally. I watched your videos. You've been doing YouTube longer than Chris and I both. So I've watched your videos for I don't know how long. And it's guys like you that really pioneered a lot for the sport. You stepped out there, you started doing YouTube, you started making it popular, right? So thank you for that, because again, you did it before Chris and I did. So great content, guys. If you don't know Flopping Crappie, go check him out after this live. Don't leave right now, but after this live, go check him out. Great stuff on that channel. There's no doubt about it. So obviously, guys, let's talk a little bit about the ACC tournament, because we've talked a little bit about it, but we're all fishing it. We will all be duking it out together, trying to beat one another. It's going to be, obviously, with 8 weigh-ins, or optional weigh-ins, it's going to be really anybody's game. I mean, tell me what your thoughts are about the format for the tournament, and we'll kind of go around robin here. And tell me a little bit about how you think it's going to turn out. What do you think will win? I've got asked probably a dozen times just this week, what do you think it'll take to win each hour? And how do you like the format? So real quick, I'll start with Blake, because guys, this is the ACC Crappie Sticks Big Crappie Bash presented by Crappie Cove, Mr. Blake Hawk right there in front of you. And Blake, I want to say thank you. And I know these guys do as well, but thank you for helping, again, pioneer something new in crappie fishing and pushing crappie fishing and tournament crappie fishing that much more forward, or going that extra mile to try to bring the sport to a new light and get more people involved in the sport. So thank you for that. But what do you think about the ACC Crappie Sticks tournament? And tell us a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. The format's awesome. I'm not really a tournament fisherman. The first real tournament I fished in was the ACC event in Texas last November, and Sarge and I fished that together. And I told him that morning going out, that was my first event. And I think I spooked him a little bit when I said that. But we enjoyed it, had a good time, placed, the top 5, so we were happy. But I think with this, what it does is it really makes it a more friendly environment for anybody to participate. Like, I feel no pressure about going out and fishing in a crappie tournament Saturday, because I may go in and weigh something and I may not. I'm going to go fish. I got one of my good friends here. We're going to go fish. We're going to have a good time. And if we catch a big fish, we're going to go weigh it in. And that's the beauty of it. It's like anyone can come out. You can take a kayak and go fish treetops. And if you stick some fat belly girl, you can take her in and weigh her in, and everybody's happy, right?
Yeah.
Or you can just go fish for the day, and you can go home and clean some fish that afternoon and say you had a good day. The format's awesome. I think it takes the pressure out of it. And, not a lot of places you can go fish for $650 an hour. So
that's true.
You get on some good fish, and you find out what they're doing Saturday, and you can put some pigs in the boat. It could be a lucrative day. And then on top of that, you got the Big Fish Award. So I think the format's great. I think the pressure's off. I think it creates an environment that promotes the sport, promotes people to come out. I mean, to me, I'll tell you, as of a little while ago, we have 43 boats in the tournament.
Hey.
I know you're getting close.
Hey, I just want to lay this out there real quick. I got asked a question, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
What do you think? Guys, everybody knows I've been president of East Tennessee Crappie Club, been running tournaments for years. I got asked 2 weeks ago by Blake and Andy, what do you think the turnout's going to be? I said 45. I said it right off the hip. I said 45 boats. Two more registered, and I'm there.
You're getting close.
I am.
So I'm going to tell you that I don't know if others know this, but Matt, you're actually the one that came up with the idea to do the format. So, let's give credit where credit's due. This was your brainchild, and I love it. I hope we'll do it again. I think just from the attention it's drawn, the people that's already signed up, I'm pretty tickled about 43 boats right now. I think it's going to be fun.
Absolutely, I think so too. Sarge, what you got? What are you thinking? What's going through your brain down there in the corner?
I'll say, Chris.
Yep.
You talking to me? Okay.
Yep.
I had pulled me down because my signal's terrible. I love the format. I think it's great. What do I think is going to take it? Obviously, something bigger than this.
Oh, that's the prize of the day.
Who caught that?
Were you catfishing on us? Were you out catching bait to catfish?
Who caught that? I gotta know.
I think
Thank you, Froze.
Yeah. I don't know how I caught that today. There's a couple guys have caught some very big fish. I obviously didn't, but I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a good time. If you're not registered, I think what's today? Wednesday. I think Thursday is the deadline. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Yep. So you still got a day to get in here. It'll be a good time. You know what? It may rain, but fish bite better than rain. They're already wet, so it doesn't matter. Right. It's going to be.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Davis, what do you got?
Well, I think it's a great format. The fact that you can win every hour that's amazing. As far as what's probably going to win the hours, somewhere between 1.75 pounds to 2 pounds. I was out yesterday. I caught two 2-pounders. So I'm thinking 2.25 pounder probably takes the whole tournament, or something bigger than that. So, but I love the format. Thank you for putting this on, both Crappie Cove. Matt, thanks for coming up with this format. I'd like to see this crappie bash go into like the big bass bash that you see on Lake of the Ozarks. I mean, I think it truly can be this type of tournament. Anybody can come out and fish it and then actually be a really big deal. So.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I think it can be too, and I think that this format, as we continue in this down this road and through this tournament, there's already been some talk thrown around about next year, and if I guess it was kind of thought if the turnout's good, why not do it again? But I think we should do it again. So, I think it'll continue to grow. I think the format, like you said, or like Blake said, is just so easy. There's no pressure. You go fish for a day, and if you get lucky and you get a good bite, you stand a chance of winning $650 or 2,500. So you only need one bite. And I've been running, like I said, tournaments, 7 fish tournaments for 8 years. And the one consistent that I always heard from people is I can go catch 15 fish, but I don't feel that I can go catch the 7 biggest fish in the lake that day. I can go catch 15 fish and catch, a good bag. But those 7 biggest fish, there's always that difference between going and being successful and catching fish and catching those 7 biggest fish you can pull out of a lake in a day. You don't have to do that in this tournament. You can show up, you can fish your normal brush piles, you can have fun, and you stand a chance of winning. So that's the whole point of it, is to get more people involved. And this tournament alone, I'm going to single him out. He's on here tonight, but Mr. Grant Bailey, I've been trying to get him and his wife in the tournament fishing for years. And this tournament came along and they registered for it. They said, we like that. We're going to fish that. That's why we're doing it. Okay. So I'm telling you, and he'll probably post here in a second and say, yeah, Matt's been trying to get me to tournament fish. He's been reluctant to do so because that 7 fish, stand up in front of people at the end of the day and present your 7 fish, win or lose. That's intimidating for people who've never done it before. There's no intimidation factor here. You come weigh in whenever you want to come weigh in, or you don't weigh in at all. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to know if you weighed in or you didn't weigh in. The only way people are going to know if you weighed in is if you had the biggest fish 1 hour. So there's no intimidation factor. There's no, he weighed this, she weighed that, he weighed this. There's none of that. So it's just a great format, I think, and I think it's going to continue to grow. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to just showing up and having fun.
Hey, so I got an idea. Not to chime in, but why don't we all 4 guess a weight that we think is going to win the overall?
I like that. Wait, what are we putting on it before we start talking?
I'll tell you what. Let's make it fun.
Side bets.
So if you win by the hour right now, and you're using an ACC crappie stick, you win $650 an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's do this. Let's don't make the bet profitable to us. Let's make it profitable to the guys that are in the tournament. Let's kick that to $750 an hour.
Okay.
Let's just let everybody share in it. So rather than the side bet, let's let everybody else win. We're going to guess individually, and let's move that hourly money up to $750 an hour rather than $650.
Hey, I'm good with that.
Okay.
So
Davis?
He didn't hear you, Blake.
You don't mind that, do you, Davis?
No, I don't mind that one.
Okay. Sarge, you okay with that? All right.
So, all right. So what you're saying here, Blake, is you're moving the hourly payout up to $750 is what you're telling us right now.
If you're using an ACC, it goes to $750.
Where's my rods? I'm gonna start petting my rods tonight. I'm gonna be like, oh girl, you can do it. You can do it. So, okay. So now we're guessing. Let's see. We're guessing for the, how about we do this? How about we guess for the biggest fish of the tournament, and out of the 3 YouTubers here, the YouTuber that gets closest to the big fish gets, well, I'll let you choose. How about, Blake, you tell us, give us a couple of pieces of merchandise that we can give away to our subscribers if we win the closest to the big fish for the day. Closest to the big fish for the day.
So what's the hottest thing out there right now? Nobody can get their hands on a 6.6 crappie sticks, right?
Yep.
We'll put a 6.6 crappie stick in somebody's hand.
All right.
I like it. All right. I'm going to guess last because I have home field advantage. So I'm going to guess last. I'll let these guys go ahead. Davis, what do you got?
I'm going to say 2 pounds, 5 ounces.
So
I don't know what the depth of that is, but
So it'll be the scale. The scale weighs like 2.45, 2.44.
okay. So yeah, 2.45.
Okay. 2.45. All right. What do you got, Chris?
Are you waiting on me?
Yeah,
I can barely hear you guys. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Guess or wait.
2.37.
237. All right. So here's the thing. We're gonna say this is Jeopardy rule, or not? Not Jeopardy. What's the one where they spin the wheel? Blake, help me out. Spin the big wheel. Is that Jeopardy? Wheel of Fortune. There we go. Thank you. So this is Wheel of Fortune rules. Closest without going over. That cool?
Okay.
So if you go over, you're done. Closest without going over. So we got a 237. Let me write this down so I don't forget. So we got 237 from Chris. We got 245 from Davis, from Mr. Flopping Crappie. All right, y'all ready? I'm going to say a 273.
The big fish.
I'm going to go 273. Big fish for the day, 273. That'd be my guess. Blake, you want in on this? Because you can give it away on Crappie Co's Facebook page.
Well, I'll just say that I personally witnessed a 2.8 2 Fridays ago, so it's not, I'm going to say it's going to be, it'll be over 273. I'm going to go over and under. I'm going to cheat on you. I'm going to say it's going to be over that. I'm going to say 282.
All right. Those are some stout weights, guys. I mean, a 237 is even a big fish. I mean, you know, you look at stuff like down at Grenada and you think, how is that possible? But for those that fish as much as we do, we know, I mean, a 237 is a big fish. You hook into one of those and it pulls back. You know, you set the hook and it don't move, you know it's a big fish, right? So those are big fish, but I think it can be done. I think it's going to be a great event, and I got to figure out what I'm gonna do. If I hit 45 boats on the nose, I'm gonna come back to Blake and Andy and say, well, okay, what do I get? What do I get, guys? Because there's a guess, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's see if there's any questions from these guys and girls on here. Let's see. So Slabbuster says,
real quick, I am going out here and try it on my phone because I don't even know what we're betting on, to be honest with you. I can't. I've got terrible there.
All right, hop out and hop back in.
I'll be right back.
All right. So Slabbuster says, Davis, Flopping Crappie got a great channel, very informative.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's see. Here's one. What color jig are y'all starting the tournament out with? Ooh, anybody want to answer this one?
I'll go. I've been using a double jig setup, pink and white 1/8 ounce ACC jigs, and the plastics. I've been going between a white and chartreuse and kind of like a pink and chartreuse mix. But they seem to be liking more of like a straight tail versus a creature bait style.
Okay, Blake.
Yeah, I'm going to be that pink head, purple or blue body on a chartreuse tail. 16th ounce.
Sarge, you in? You look better. You're clearer now. Nope, he gone. All right. Sarge is having technical difficulties. I'm going with. Well, it's no secret on my channel. Everybody knows what I'm going with.
Black and chartreuse.
No, come on, man. Everybody knows what I'm rolling with.
No.
Oh yeah.
No, you wouldn't do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Grasshopper, baby. Chartreuse and pumpkin chartreuse all day long, twice on Sunday. I won't throw anything but it all day. That's the truth. So we actually, for those that saw my post, we fished the Watts Bar tournament a couple weeks ago, and we won it on that bait. I mean, it's by far the hot bait for me. But there again, I will probably throw purple and chartreuse. I will probably throw white and chartreuse. Those are good colors on Watts Bar. But guaranteed I'll start out with that one. All right. Kenneth Pippins, what pound test line do you use pitching your 6.6 ACC rod and long line trolling? Davis, you long line troll any up north?
Yeah, we do more drift fishing than long line troll, but I mean, same concept. You just use the wind. But up north, you're probably using 6-pound mono. I was actually using the 6.6 today, yesterday, doing some dock shooting. I actually had 4-pound mono on. That shoots off the reel a lot better than 6-pound. But you got to be careful just in case you hook into a 2-pound crappie. Better have that drag set.
Yeah, no doubt. So funny you say that because the first time that I fished, well, not first time, one of the first times that I fished with my tournament partner, we were pulling planer boards and we got a good fish on. I reel the fish in and I swing it in the boat and I look back and he's just ghosted. I mean, his whole face is just like a ghost. And I was like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, that's 2-pound line. And I was like, oh, I didn't know. He's like, I can't believe you just did that. I was like, well, I mean, hey, that's what it is. So anyway, Blake, what do you got?
I'm 4K9. That's all I fish with. I think I may have 2 rods with 8-pound K9 and then some bonehead braid, but I'm almost 80% 4-pound K9.
Okay. Now, Davis, do you use a whole lot of short rods or do you mostly use the longer stuff?
Up north, it's pretty much short rods. I mean, the longest one we probably use is the 8-foot to do a lot of slip bobber fishing.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I start traveling south, basically anywhere south of Southern Illinois, it's the 10, 11, 12 jig poles. And I've been using 15-pound braid on my 12-foot jig pole all week. So we'll see how the rain affects them. I might have to go to like 10-pound braid or some sort of fluoro or mono leader. But hopefully the bite just stays as it is. Seems to be working.
So I want to pause right here just one second because I preach on my channel a lot of the time, and I also the guys that fish East Tennessee Crappie Club with me. I want to point out the fact that you just said you talked about the weather and the rain changing things. So that tells me right away I've got to compete against Davis Saturday, and it's going to be tough because Davis is already on the game. He already knows what's coming. You've looked ahead at the weather. You know it's going to change. He's been down here all week, but he says, wait a minute. A lot of water coming in. Something's going to change, and I'll figure that out when it does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that tells me y'all better watch out for Davis this Saturday because he's on top of it, right? So
my biggest fear is how much rain we get because I don't really fish these reservoir type systems or these river systems. I mean, the water could rise 2-3 feet in a day, and all of a sudden the brush piles have been fishing at, let's say, 17, 18, 20 feet. Now they're 23, 25 feet of water. You know, are the crappies still going to be on them, or is that too deep? Is the oxygen not going to be there anymore? Are the bait fish going to move? Like that could throw a big wrench in the entire tournament prep of this week.
Yep, that's exactly right. So uh, without going on a big spiel, because I'm bad about big spiels, but to answer your question and to kind of put your mind at ease, because I think my mind and your mind are kind of the same. I overthink everything. I literally nitpick the smallest change in pressures, the smallest amount of rain, the current changes. I nitpick it all. So I'll put you at ease a little bit. The watch bar won't raise or drop rapidly. If we get a lot of rain, that rain will be held up at Douglas or Cherokee. Now, the current flow may change a little bit, but the lake levels won't rapidly change too much from where they're at now. I hadn't looked at it today, but they were up. I mean, they were with that last rain event we had. They were almost at summer pool, so they're not gonna change a whole lot. So the rising and falling levels shouldn't be an issue for you, but current could be. And to your point about getting a lot of rain and having to go to fluorocarbon, down here the lakes get so clear, it actually helps you when we get all that rain. I go straight braid and quit tying fluoro, just because it dirties the water up, and it's the only time in the world that we can actually get close to fish and get away with just a straight braid.
Mhm.
So, Blake, let's see. You talked about you use 6.6s quite a bit. So you're pitching and flipping and shooting docks and doing that with 6.6s quite often. I know that because we fish together some. I do. I have I used a 10-footer last week, and I like using those longer rods. One thing I will say about the longer rods, guys, that I noticed this last week was those open water fish with Livescope. If I pitch with a 10-footer, one, I don't have to pitch nearly as hard because I've got 10 or 12 foot of line out. So I can make a little short roll cast and get the bait out there a little quicker and a little further. But one thing I did notice is the amount of line I can catch up just by raising that rod tip. I think I kind of like it, to be honest with you, because I can see a fish on the screen, and when that jig's going down to that fish, I can raise the rod tip, and I can make up so much line, and I can get that jig to pretty much stop instantly. I don't know. I'm going to play with it a little bit more, but I was using a 10-footer and kind of liked it. So, with a super grip.
Kind of a fan of the 8 too. I've really learned that 8 with a super grip is kind of a great in between for me.
Mm-hmm.
Still not a huge long rod guy because I'm used to short rods shooting docks and stuff. But the 8's been a really good in between for me. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and I like it too. Like David said, I love it for slip float. I'm a big slip floater too, especially when I take my kids. When I take my kids, we generally slip float minnows because it's just easier for them.
Mhm.
But Sarge is in the dark. I can hear him.
Yeah, I can hear you
but-
all.
Yeah, there you go. We can't hardly see you, but we can hear you, so that's a win.
Yeah, I'm literally in my truck.
Well, you have better service in your truck. I'm not asking. We'll go on. You got Wi-Fi in the truck, I guess.
Yeah, I've got a Wi-Fi in here. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Chuck asks, are you going to text the hourly results? That's a very good question, Chuck. So, Blake will actually have someone at the ramp. Crappie Cove will be at the ramp, and they will post the winner of each hour after the close of that hour. Okay. So if you want to keep up with the tournament results, go to Crappie Cove on Facebook, like the page, follow the page, and you will be able to keep up with the hourly results and the winners from each hour. So 7:30 to 8:30 is the first hour. They're going to do their best, as long as the scale's not crazy, they're going to do their best to get the results out within 10 or 15 minutes of the close of that hour. Okay, guys? So you'll be able to keep up with it there. You'll be able to see the weight of the fish weighed and the winners of the hour. At the end of each hour, it'll be a lot of fun to keep up with. So They are calling for rain, and I don't know if we're going to get any live video or if we're going to do anything of that nature. It really depends on the weather. I may try to go live during the tournament. I know that's out of sorts for me. I typically don't film or anything for my tournaments, but I'm focused. But this tournament's different. Like Blake said, I don't feel any pressure, and I feel like I can go live and talk with you guys. So I may do some of that as well. I don't know if you guys plan to or not, but you guys may be filming. I'm not sure. Are you guys going to film the tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah, I plan on it.
Okay. So they'll be able to see some of y'all's catches and stuff, the weigh in and so on and so forth, scales and all that good stuff. Austin Fowler says, is it too late to buy stock in ACC crappie sticks, or will they continue to boom? Yeah, no joke. I think every crappie angler in my neck of the woods owns one. What about you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially up north with Andy releasing the ice fishing lineup. I know those sold out real quick, and we're going to expand more on the ice fishing rods for us northerners that are forced to ice fish for 3 months of the year. So, yeah, it's the rod company's booming.
Absolutely, they are. There was a high demand for a good quality crappie rod. A good quality, let me rephrase that. A good quality crappie rod that'll do everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's other rod companies out there and there's other good rods out there, but a good rod that'll do it all is tough to find. So you can take a 12-foot ACC crappie stick. You can pull planer boards with it. You can longline with it. You can pull crankbaits with it. You can vertical jig with it. You can float and fly with it. You can pitch with it. You can cast with it. I mean, you can do it all. I mean, you can slip float with it. It'll do everything. And that was one thing. Being a crappie angler, or a tournament angler like I was, I actually learned all those different techniques before Livescope, and I had to have a set of rods to do each one of those techniques. I had to have a set of rods that were strong enough to pull boards. I had to have a set of rods I could longline with, and so on and so forth. Now you don't have to have that. You just need an ACC crappie stick, which is nice.
Hey,
let's
Matt,
see.
let me jump in real quick. I appreciate you having me on. This is probably a very terrible picture of me here in the dark, and it's highly uncomfortable. I'm trying to find the dome light here, so I'm gonna bow out. We'll talk later because I have no idea what I bet on earlier. I couldn't hear anything.
That's fine. We'll catch you up later.
Yeah. So anyway, I appreciate you having me on tonight, and everybody. I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to fishing this thing, and yeah, have at it, guys. Thanks so much for everything.
Yep. Thanks, buddy. We'll see you.
Buddy. You take care.
You too. All right, guys. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. I use the Shimano Sienna. Good reel for the money. Best, that comes after Craig Fowler says, best budget reel for crappie. What y'all got?
Well, I use PC Fun reels. As far as budget reels for them, they just came out with the Viper X series, which I think is like $35, $40. It's a 1,000 size reel. I think it's pretty good. I've been using it all week. The step up is their Carbon X series, which I think is like $65. Walleye guys up north tend to use the 2,000 size Carbon X reel for them. But I've used like Shimano in the past. Just what you're looking for is a 1,000 size reel with good drag, because oftentimes, especially if you're using longer rods, you're constantly pulling that line after you get the fish to the boat. I learned this from actually spider rigging with the 16-footers. You got to have a solid drag because you're constantly, after you set the hook, you're pulling the drag out so you can actually swing that fish in the boat. But 1,000 size reel is what you need. I think there's a lot of companies that make some decent reels in that $30 to $50 price range.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm going to ask Mr. Blake this. I already know the answer to this, and I'm laughing because he's trying to convert me. Guys, I just want y'all to know when Blake answers this question, he's trying to convert me over to this reel. So go ahead, Blake.
No, I mean, some people will drive a Yugo too, so it doesn't matter, right? I mean, it's okay. No, I'm a strong Okuma guy. They make all different, price ranges. You can get down, $30, $35 up to $135. It just kind of depends on what you want. But they're always, to me, they're smooth. I hate to reach over and pop a handle and I'm jerking a reel trying to get the bail to set. That doesn't set well with me. I don't like to manually flip it. So I'm a Okuma guy.
Yep. And like I said, there it is. Blake's trying to convert me, guys. So I'm a Fluger guy. I've always been a Fluger guy. Well, I say that when I first started crappie fishing, I wasn't. But when I picked up the Flugers, I've been hooked ever since. I fished with Presidents for a little bit and then realized that the Fluger Tryon it's next of kin, really. It's a little bit cheaper price point, and as much as I fish, I go through reels quite often. They last me generally. The Tryon will last me 3 to 4 seasons or 3 to 4 years. They're all seasons all year, but I can get 3 to 4 years out of one. I'm not really a guy that fixes my reels. I'm more of a guy that just keeps them old until they go, and then I get another one. But I prefer the Fluger Tryon, size 25 for me. And they're at a good price point too. Like Davis said, they're in that $40 range. They may have went up, Blake. I think Blake told me they went up a little bit since the last time I bought them. I think are they up to the $45 now?
Yeah, they're going to be in the 43, 46 range, as I recall.
Yeah.
They'll be about like the Seamar and the Okuma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a question from David Moyer. He says, I got a Garmin Livescope 93 SV. What am I doing wrong? Can't see my 16th ounce jig. Got 6-pound test K9.
Okay, well, there's 2 different gains, and I actually learned this a couple months ago fishing with Tyler Beckman in Lake of the Ozarks. You can set your normal gain, but there's also a setting called your color gain, where if you crank that up and make everything white hot, that should help you out a lot seeing those 16-ounce jigs. Also, make sure your range, when you're trying to view these jigs, make sure your range isn't more than 30 feet in front of you. That's going to help it. And then your depth range, probably don't want more than 25, 30 feet. So if you got your range out to 70 feet to find the fish, as soon as you find the fish and you're trolling up to them, make sure you bring that range back in, and it'll help you out a lot seeing those jigs. And that's more so the display unit. I know there could be, like, your transducer might not be angled right, so that's a different issue. But you might need to watch some YouTube videos on that.
Where do you find the color gain, Davis?
I'd have to be looking at the unit. If you're on your Livescope screen and you go to your menu page, I think there's a drop down for different settings that you can cycle through. I don't know off the top of my head, but you can Google it. I'm sure Garmin has a list of how to go to it.
If I pull up beside you tomorrow, maybe that's what I'll ask you to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm running a 93 SV. I'm going to answer that question that was just asked on where you find it. So go to menu, sonar setup. You've got your gain and your color gain in your sonar setup of your menu on a 93 SV. So.
Yeah. And for percentage wise, I run the color gain about 70 and then the normal gain about 65. That's what I've been running this week. Seems to be working out for me. So, but you can tweak it to what you need to.
Yeah. So I actually run my gain on auto medium. I played with my gain up, down, left, right, sideways, slantways, everything in between when I got my Livescope unit. And then there was one day where I just bounced around a ton. And I thought to myself, I bounced from shallow water to deep water, to shallow water to deep water. And every time you go shallow, you have to turn your game down because it's way too hot.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you go deep, you got to crank it back up. And then I got to thinking about it, and I thought, I wonder if auto medium would set me about the same. So I kind of ran around to a lot of different places that I'd already been, and I already knew what my settings were, and put it on auto medium, went back there, checked my settings, because you can see on 93, you can watch it slide up and down.
Yep.
And they were right there where I was setting them, just leaving it on auto, and I had full with it. So I've been running that for probably 4 months now, just auto medium, and it has been flawless. I've had great picture, and it's kept up pretty well with where I feel I would set it. To your point, watts bar, I generally run around 68 to 72 in normal water conditions. And that's kind of what it sounded like you were running on your gain was 70. So kind of right there in the middle. But yeah, I've been running auto medium, and what you said about the color gain is 100% accurate. That will brighten everything up, and he'll be able to see better. But the thing that I think I encounter the most, and you may have said this, I had to step out. If you did, I'm sorry. The thing I encounter the most is, yes, there's a 20-degree cone, but if you get off to one side of the cone or the other, you don't get as hard of a return. So you can get that jig dead center of that cone, and it'll be bright like a fish. But if you ease that transducer just a little bit, you can still kind of make your jig out falling, but it just dims it, and it makes it harder to see. So I think, yeah, there is a 20-degree cone out there, but I think you lose a lot of the visibility and brightness on the edges of that cone. So I think having that transducer 100% on your jig really helps out. And I found that this question comes from a lot of guys that are, and I don't know, David, do you have your transducer mounted on your trolling motor?
Yep.
Because I see a lot of this question come from guys that are running it on their trolling motor. Because a lot of trolling motors, some move very slow, but some, when you hit the pedal, it'll jump. It won't ease around. Some will, but some of them jump a little bit, and you lose it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other thing they might have to look at is a 0-degree mount, because I know Garmin has both the 15-degree offset, which is pretty standard that it comes with, but they have the 0-degree, which actually they originally came out with for the ice fishing guys, because you just put it on a post and drop it down a hole. I run a 0-degree on my trolling motor, and I think it honestly it works better. But I got to keep the Livescope transducer above the trolling motor head. I think I'm probably, I don't know, 15 to 17 inches above the trolling motor head. You can't put it too close to it, otherwise you will lose visibility with the 0-degree mount. Because that 15-degree offset is meant to kind of put it out around that trolling motor, the head of the trolling motor. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I don't run mine on the trolling motor. Obviously, I run it on a pole. You and I guess, fish similar. I've watched a lot of your videos. You've watched, I'm sure, some of mine or maybe all of mine. If not, I'll hook you up later. We'll get on there and just play all. We'll sit there and watch them together. Pop some popcorn. Whatever you want to do. It don't matter. No, but I'm a pole guy. You're a trolling motor guy. You're running the new Garmin, right? Trolling motor.
I am. Yeah.
So does that head oscillate smooth, or does it have some jerk in it, or?
When it's working 100%, it is very smooth. There are definitely days that today was not a good day for that Garmin trolling motor. There was a lot of cussing on my boat today.
Does that affect your fishing with Livescope?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Today I had the problem. It wasn't the foot pedal. I think the foot pedal is going on it again. This is my second foot pedal, to be perfectly honest with you. When this thing works, it's awesome. It's just the consistency just, to me, it isn't quite there yet. But yeah, you can't spin like today. I couldn't spin 180 degrees to my left. I can only spin 90. So if I'm drifting one way and I'm still trying to get that jig in front of the fish, all of a sudden the trolling motor just won't spin far enough. Yeah, it's a problem. So
yeah.
but
So Blake,
I know a lot of guys. I've talked to a couple tournament guys, and they think they're just going to go back to the Minn Kota 4Trex, which is the pure cable driven, no electric assist, because you can fine tune it to you know exactly where that trolling motor is pointed just by your foot pedal. And those guys, they don't even look at the trolling motor head. They know based on where their foot is where they got to drop that jig. So
right. Well, let me ask you a question. I'm not gonna try to convert you on this live show, but after running the Garmin on your trolling motor for the amount of time that you have, do you feel that a pole may be a better channel or a better route to go if you were more of a novice fisherman that was trying to keep that jig in the screen in the center of the cone for the most amount of time?
yeah, it would depend on what kind of fishing. And I've talked to Ken from Hook City TV about this. It depends what style. If you're a guy that fishes brush piles and you spot lock on it, 100% go with a separate pole. Like it's not even an option.
Yeah.
Go with a separate pole.
Yeah.
I fish with a few tournament guys, and the way a lot of guys fish tournaments is you're hunting the fish down. So you don't really have time to spot lock and set up the pole. They're hunting them down. I fish with guys out of Oklahoma. These fish are just suspended in a flat, so you're just chasing them, and you don't have time to hold the pole and then run the trolling motor and then try to drop the jig. It's all got to be one setup on the trolling motor. So I guess that's kind of where I'm at with hunting these fish down. But for a novice, because I'm assuming most people are still fishing brush piles or stake beds or laydowns, and you're using spot lock, 100% go with the pole. Go with Fish Specialties, or I don't know who you use, but there's a number of companies that have these transducer poles out there.
Yeah, I'm running a Fishing Specialties pole. While we're talking about them, I have a discount code for them right down here in the bottom of the screen. It's Wired is their discount code. So if you have or want to purchase a Fishing Specialties pole, Wired gets you 10% off. But the thing that I think I like the most about being able to use the pole and have the pole there beside me is, and I know everybody says, I want two hands on the rod. I understand that 100%. But what I can do is I can take that pole, I can find that fish, I can get off the trolling motor, I can use that pole to stay on that fish and make my cast. Then once the jig's in the water, I don't need two hands. I'm letting that jig fall. I can keep that pole and keep one hand on the pole, one hand on the rod, and I can keep that fish and that jig in that screen no matter where my boat goes. And if the wind starts pushing me or current starts pushing me, then I can use my foot to redirect my boats in a manner that I can continue to fish. So I'm able to steer my boat, keep my boat where I want it, but also keep that jig in that screen 100% of the time without losing contact with it. And I can literally put that jig right on top of that fish's head. So I don't know, just it's always good to get different perspectives and different views from anglers that are doing it different. And it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean one way is better than the other. It's just a different view and a different way that guys are doing it. So, and that's great feedback from you that if you're a brush pile fisherman, you're spot locking, absolutely get a pole. You cannot, and I think you would vouch for this, you cannot spot lock and use Livescope on your trolling motor at all.
No, it's not possible.
It just doesn't work. No. So, Blake, what are your thoughts? You're quiet.
I prefer the pole. It's what I got used to. I've fished out of other people's boat that use a transducer on the trolling motor. And I think, like Davis says, that's guys that are out hunting fish, chasing them down. And I think it is probably the best tool for that type of fishing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for guys like me who probably are still fishing the brush piles or fishing structure more, I like it on the pole. I like to be able to, you know, keep my cone where I can see my my jig going down and watch what's going on. And you know, I do use spot lock, so it would not be conducive for me.
Sure. All right, guys, we let's answer a few. You guys okay? Can we answer a couple more questions? I know everybody's got an early morning tomorrow. Is everybody good?
Yeah, I'm good for a few more minutes.
Okay. Could thunder lightning activity change the hourly schedule of the event? Never fished a tourney. Right now, Austin, to answer your question, no. We do not have a way to contact every angler while they're on the water. So what we will tell everybody the morning of the tournament is use best discretion. The discretion is yours and yours alone. If you feel that you're in danger being on the lake, get off the lake. That means find a dock, find a slip, put the boat on the trailer, sit in the truck, whatever you feel you need to do to be safe, be safe. Safety is of the utmost importance, but no, it will not change the hourly weigh-in. I think Misty had a question. Misty says, can anglers have more than one fish in their boat as they come into weigh? Very good question from Misty. So yes, anglers can have more than one fish in the boat when they come to weigh. Now they can only weigh one fish per hour, but you could have 7, 8 fish in the live well if you were lucky enough to catch, you know, if you caught 8 3-pounders off the first brush pile, you could put them all in the live well. So, you know, that's perfectly fine. You can have more fish in the live well, but you only weigh one an hour. Chuck asks, do any of you spider rig during tournaments? Has Livescope changed that? Davis?
Well, this is the first tournament I've ever fished. So, but I do spider rig. I love spider rigging on Lake of the Ozarks. I go there late February, early March when those fish are very early pre-spawn. They're suspended in the feeder creeks. It's a lot of fun. As far as Livescope goes, does it change it? Yeah, a little bit. To be honest, the craziest thing I've ever witnessed was a 8-pole spider rig. I wasn't in the boat. I was actually watching another crew. They had a Livescope setup and they had a Humminbird 360. They're using live minnows, a double minnow setup. And I honestly, they fished for 1 hour and they probably boated over 200 crappie. So as far as just efficiency goes, a Livescope with either the perspective view or a 360 unit teamed with the Livescope to really pinpoint your spider rigging setup. I mean, those crappie don't stand a chance. It's a lot of fun, but I've never tournament fished with it, so no.
Davis, you just spent Blake's money. I see it rolling in his head right now because we had a conversation the other day about partnering 360 and Livescope together.
Yep.
And I think you just spent Blake's money. Did you just spend your money, Blake?
Thank you, Davis. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good setup.
Yeah, you know, there is, I can see where it would be beneficial because you can identify those brush piles and those stumps and those rock piles, or I guess there's grass up where you're at, right?
Yep.
So those weed edges. Yep. And you can see that on 360 and then as a whole picture instead of a 20-degree cone. Then you can take your 20-degree cone and zero in on those areas that you see. So yeah, I see where it could be beneficial. You know, eventually we're going to have generators in boats. Y'all do realize that, right?
Yeah. Well, Minn Kota already has the alternator.
That's true.
You can plug it in. I've seen it for the walleye guys that run 36-volt batteries for the trolling motor, and then they got 3 other batteries for just electronics, and then a starting battery. So,
yeah.
I actually just came down here. I bought a Livescope system with the 93 SV this last December. They had a big sale going on, which is my second Livescope system. So I had one transducer on forward view and the second one on the perspective mode, just to see how I'd like it. Getting a little interference right now. I'm seeing a pulse every once in a while, but being able to see a bird's eye view perspective as well as that forward looking view. I mean, if you got the money, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So my fishing partner and I, when we fish tournaments, we actually have 2 Livescope setups in the boat. That is one other thing that I like about the fishing specialty setup. Have you heard of Summit? The Summit ice fishing bundle. You can put your Livescope in a bag and carry it around with you.
Yep.
So we have that set up with a 93 SV in it. We bought a Fishing Specialties pole and ran it off through Fishing Specialties. There's 2 mounts, one on either side of the boat. And when we fish tournaments, he's got his Livescope on one side, I've got my Livescope on the other, and we can target different fish, right? So I can pitch over here, he can pitch over there. We can move across the lake or fish a brush pile or fish a dock, and we can fish completely different areas, but always see our jig. So same principle that you use perspective and forward view. We're using forward view, but on 2 Livescopes. I used to spider rig in tournaments. Back when I started East Tennessee Crappie Club, the very first tournament that I ever won with the club was on Tellico, which is my home lake. I think it was the first year. We had 2 tournaments on Tellico. The first year I won one of them, I believe. Anyway, it's been too long ago. I slept since then, but I won it spider rigging. The thing that I remember the most was the wind blew 25 that day, and I fished from daylight till 9:30 when the wind started blowing, and I sat at the boat ramp and waited on everybody to come back and ended up winning the tournament. So, I mean, I literally sat at the boat ramp because I had a bass tracker, and it would blow around like a piece of paper in the wind. And yeah, so anyway, I used to spider rig quite a bit, but yes, Livescopes changed that. In my opinion, when you can, a lot of these guys that are going out there and fishing tournaments, when they were using 8 rods to cover the water and hopefully run in front of that big fish, put a bait in front of that big fish. Now they can look at that big fish on their screen, identify it, and make a cast directly to it. So they don't need 8 rods anymore. That's what I see. And I don't spider rig anymore. I actually looked at my spider rig rods in the barn 2 or 3 days ago and thought, I need to get rid of those. I don't use them anymore. So, Blake, you ever spider rig?
Have, but don't. I like to keep it kind of simple and have fun. Keeping up with a stack of rods on the front of the boat doesn't really strike me as fun. Even if I'm catching fish, it gets to be a little bit like work. I like it simple.
Yeah, and it's sorry, I was reading. It's a great way to fish. It really is, and you can catch a lot of fish spider rigging. I've had days where I've boated 30 keepers in an hour. There's no doubt that it's a great way to fish, and now and I hate to say this because it sounds like I'm going back into my bass days. It's just too slow for me. It's just too slow. It's 0.4, 0.5 mile an hour around the lake is tedious.
Yeah.
I spider rigged in Grenada, and it was not boring at Grenada with spider rig, I'll have to say.
Oh, I'd say not at Grenada.
Yeah.
I'd say anything on Grenada is not boring.
Yeah.
I have not personally fished Grenada yet. Davis, have you fished Grenada?
I did last fall, except the problem was we had 2 hurricanes hit Louisiana, so we had about 30-mile-an-hour winds out of the east, and those lakes set up east-west, so they're about 4 to 5 foot waves. Wasn't fishable.
Yeah.
But
dragging
I
chains
got
and
on it one
bags
day.
and everything. Yeah.
What's that?
I said, are you dragging chains and bags and everything, trying to hold it?
And I got on it one day and tried to get out to the main lake and turned right around and put it back on the trailer. So I ended up fishing Sardis. There's some coves that you can get in out of the wind on Sardis, but yeah.
That was my first experience of ever pulling a bag and chains behind a boat. Yeah.
We actually, we actually pulled a chain this last tournament on Watts Bar. But we figured out real quick that you cannot chase open water fish in any way, shape, form, fashion. Doesn't matter if you have a chain or a drift socks you can't chase open water fish in clear water, especially floating with the wind. Got to be into the wind. Got to be. And we tried it. We thought the same thing. We thought, well, we're wasting time if we have to go with the wind and then turn around, go back, and go with the wind again, and then turn around and go back. We thought, we're just wasting time. Let's just drag a chain. Didn't work. The problem is in clear water like Watts Bar, and I guess, I don't know, Davis, do you guys have clear water or muddy water? What is your typical water color?
I would consider Watts Bar stained by our standards. You know, when somebody says clear water fishing up by us, that's probably 10 plus feet visibility. We got lakes that have 20, 30 feet visibility. You could be in 30 feet of water and you can see the boulders on the bottom. So
yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah, I think Watts Bars right now, I think was like 2 to 3 foot visibility, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would consider this slightly stained water, but that's just
I would agree with you. Watts Bar right now is stained because we got 9 inches of rain last week, and they have not stopped spilling the dams since that rain event. Like Douglas, to put it in perspective, Douglas Lake and Cherokee Lake, they draw those lakes down like 60 feet in the winter. And after this last rain event, I think they were 4 feet from summer pool. They came up 50 plus feet. So they're literally trying to pull all that water out of those reservoirs, and it all comes through Watts Bar. So right now, yeah, Watts Bar is dirty, but typically, Blake, correct me if I'm wrong, but typically you have anywhere from 6 to 8 feet visibility on Watts Bar.
Yeah, that's about right.
Which is, for us, pretty clear. When you have fish that suspend 4 feet down and you try to drift with the wind and present a bait to those fish, before you can get to those fish, they see your boat and they're gone. So we learned really, really quick going with the wind and pulling or drifting anything was not going to work. So we tried the whole chain deal, but it just didn't pan out. It did not pan out at all.
So you brought up a good point, though, Matt, about everything's pushing through Watts Bar. Just for everyone that's going to be fishing the tournament this weekend, a lot of stuff in the lake, a lot of logs, a lot of trees, a lot of debris in the water. Be careful, folks, because there's some big stuff floating out there just under the surface.
Yeah. So we've probably got about 10 guys on, 10 or 12, maybe more, that are fishing this weekend. Probably more than that. I saw 10 or 12, but I hadn't looked at everybody tonight, and I'm sorry if I missed you. But real quick, I hope everybody got the email that went out just kind of explaining Friday, the dinner Friday, 5 to 7, barbecue at the boat ramp. Saturday, you have to be checked in at the ramp at 6:15. Don't worry about where to go, how to go, because as soon as you pull in the parking lot, you will get checked in. What that means is there will be a little bit of a backup to get into the parking lot. Don't panic. Don't freak out, guys. It's going to be all right. We're going to get everybody in as quickly as we can, but there will be a little bit of a slow when you pull into the ramp, okay? That's so we can get everybody checked in and get them directed to where they need to go and how they need to go so everything goes smooth and we get everybody in, launched, and ready to go. Once we get ready to release everybody will have a 6:30 meeting. We'll go over the rules, tell everybody how everything's going to work, how it's going to go. At 6:30, at about 6:45, 6:50, we will start letting people leave. We will have everybody leave there in order, okay? For those that have fished out of Tom Fuller and Davis, you've probably seen it. At the outside mouth of Tom Fuller, there is a long point that comes across. There's a red buoy there. If you get on the wrong side of that red buoy, you will run aground. So it gets a little narrow at the mouth of that creek. Not extremely narrow, but it narrows down. So we will have a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit coming out of Tom Fuller that morning, and there will be no passing allowed. So as we let boats go, 30 mile an hour, get up on plane, 30 mile an hour, no passing until you get to the main lake. Once you get out into the main lake, free for all. Do whatever you want to do. Let her eat, get out of there. But 90% of tournament accidents happen at blast off. We're not going to fall into that category, right? So for everybody watching, please know that. And we will get everybody out of there safe. But that's a big thing for me is getting everybody out of there safe and getting them back safe. Anyway, and the floating debris. You mentioned floating debris and safety, so that's what took me there. But
yep.
All right. So I don't see any other comments or questions, guys. I want to first thank you guys. Rusty says he did not get the email. It's because we hadn't sent out the second batch of emails yet, Rusty. You will get that email. Okay, buddy. You're in the second wave, and you will get that email on the second wave of emails. So I appreciate you guys for being on. I thank y'all for your time and for answering questions. I know everybody enjoyed it. I saw a lot of people that said they really enjoyed it tonight. It's always great to see different faces and get different perspectives and have, a different view and a different opinion on crappie fishing. So I appreciate you guys and thank you for being with us.
Yep.
Thank
you.
And I will see you guys Friday for sure. I will see you Friday for sure. Davis and I are going to do a video Friday morning. Hopefully we don't get rained on. Yeah, it's supposed to rain Thursday, not so much Friday, and then chance of rain Saturday. But hey, this is East Tennessee, guys. That could all change when we wake up in the morning. So, we'll play it by ear. But I hope everybody has a great evening, great week, and we will see you next week on the live. I appreciate you guys again. Thank y'all. Blake, thank you for everything that you're doing in the crappie industry, and we appreciate you, again, pioneering something new. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Guys, God bless. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you later.
Yep.
Take care.
See ya.